Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at the implementation of convolution neural networks using some standard libraries. I'll be using Google Colab for this. So let us start with the code. As usual, we start by importing the standard libraries. I've imported NumPy and Pandas for handling datasets, Matplotlib for plotting, TensorFlow and Keras for implementing our neural network architecture. From Keras I have imported datasets since I'll be using the standard dataset from Keras. Layers is used for adding layers to our model, and models is for handling our entire model. Let us run this cell. Okay, next we load our dataset. So I've used the CFAR 10 dataset, which is already available in the Keras module. So I've directly imported it from there and split it into train and test dataset. So if you want to look at the CFAR dataset, so it is something like this. There are 10 classes and there are images, and we have to classify each of these images based on these 10 classes. And if you look at how we import this, then you can see at the Keras docs that this is how we import, and these are the labels corresponding to the different class names. Okay, so in a similar way I have loaded our dataset, and now let us look at the shape of our training example. Okay, so the dataset has been loaded. We have 50,000 training examples, and each of those size is 32 cross 32 cross 3. 32 cross 32 is the matrix size, and 3 because it is a RGB image. Next I have defined the input shape, which is 32 cross 32 cross 3 in the form of a list. So I've used list comprehension here and extracted from 1 till last, means from 32 cross 32 cross 3, and that I've defined as the input shape. So let us print that. Yes, we got it in the form of a list. Next we define our classes. So this is the same classes as it was given here. Now let us look at each image. So for this, first let us look at the 19th training example. So this looks something like a frog. Let us look at something else. Okay, this is not much visible what it is. To look at something else. This one is also not very much clear. This looks like a truck. Since these are very small size images, that's why recognizing them is difficult with the human eye. Okay, so we have looked at a dataset. Now we will build our model using the standard libraries. So we do that by model equal to keras.sequential. Sequential means that one by one we will keep on adding our layers. So this is our first block. First we have used convolutional layer. So we have used a filter size of 3 cross 3, and we have used 32 of those filters. So we write it in this way. And the activation is ReLU. Padding I have done same. Same means that the input and the output will have the same size. And for the first layer we also need to pass the input shape. After that we have a max pool layer. Then we have a second block where the filter size is 3 cross 3, and the number of filters used here is 64. The activation again we have used is ReLU. This is quite a common activation function. Padding is same. Then again a max pool layer. Then again we have a convolution layer where the kernel size you can either define it in this way or in this way, writing kernel size, and filter number of filters I've used is 128. Activation ReLU and padding same, then again a max pool layers. After that we have dense layer, so we flatten out. Flattening means you already know we have a 2D matrix, so we take all of those and put it stack it in the form of column. So that is what is done by layers dot flatten. Then we use a dense layer which has 64 units, activation ReLU, and for the final layer we have 10 units since we have 10 classes, so 10 units, and the activation is softmax. And finally we have model.summary, which will summarize our model. Okay, so you can see that the first layer output shape is 32 cross 32 cross 32. Similarly for the max pool size reduced by half, 16 cross 16, but this thing, the you can think of this like the depth, it remains same. Then again you can see the output shapes of different layers, and finally at the output we have the output shape as 10 since we want to classify in the form of 10 classes. You can see the number of total parameters we have is around 200,000, and this gives the total trainable parameters, and the number of non-trainable parameters obviously 0 since we will be training all these parameters. Next we will compile our model using the optimizer atom and the loss function we define, and also the metrics. Okay, finally we train our model, so we train it by model.fit, pass the training dataset, define the number of epochs, and we also give the validation dataset. Training this model will take some time since we have quite a huge number of parameters to train. Okay, so our model is trained and we can see that we have a validation of accuracy of around 70%. So maybe if we train it further, then we can get a validation accuracy of 70%. Now let us see the loss function, how is it changing. So you can see the blue line, which is the training loss, it is continuously decreasing, but the validation loss or the loss of the test dataset, it decreased after some time, but then it became almost constant. So you know that as the gap between the validation loss and the loss increases, the model tends to be overfitting. So we need to avoid that, and maybe we should stop it somewhere over here to prevent overfitting. So we have an accuracy of 70%, which is good considering that we have defined the model on our own. If we use some standard architecture like VGG16, then we will get a pretty high accuracy. So you can use that, you can just look at the structure, and at this part you can just write the code according to what the structure is and then train, but doing that would take a huge amount of time. One more method you can do is directly you can take in the all pre-trained parameters of VG16, and while implementing it in your model you need not train those parameters once again. You can just add 2 or 3 layers at the end for classification based on your dataset, and you just need to train those parameters. So in that way you will be using the pre-learned model of VG16, which will give a higher accuracy. So if you use that, then that would be pretty good, and it will give better results than what we have achieved here. So with this, I think that you have understood how we implement convolution neural networks. Thank you.